Hi everyone. Thanks for coming. Settle down, please. And you will now hear a short briefing by President 1950.
King Bob is watching the stream. You have to click the play button. The stream is off. Okay, it should be back on soon.
So for those on stream, I will be reading out what the president says.
Sorry, 1 second. Sorry. Okay, it should be streaming now in 10 seconds.
All right. So for those on stream, I, as the press secretary, will be reading out what the president is saying, and I will quote. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, fellow citizens of Redmont. Thank you all for attending to the first press conference of this administration. So first of all, I'll be giving a quick explanation of what the executive has been doing in the past week and what we expect to do in the following one. After that, Jurenton will attend your questions. Press agencies that already communicated to us that they would attend will have preference in asking questions. So let's begin with the explanation. Last week, I handed to every secretary a policy schedule for each of their departments. This was a series of policies divided into 4 categories depending on if they should be accomplished by the end of March, by the end of April, or by the end of May. If they were policies that should be done constantly without a specific time to be accomplished. Also, at the beginning of this week, DCT Secretary Kaito resigned for personal matters, and I appointed Roomba as the new acting secretary. Roomba has been doing a great job so far in this almost 1 week that he's been in the position. For example, he has started auctioning many plots that have been standing by in the DCT for some time. Which leads to the next point, which is addressing the plots crisis. Roomba and I have been discussing with the new Congress what could we all do to address the plots crisis, and 3 policies came up as the possible solutions that should be implemented. On the one hand, there should be a change in the properties taxes system. On the other hand, there should be a decrease on the C plots limit, although this one is a very controversial one. Some think it should be reduced by a lot. Some others are more conservative and think it should be reduced just by a bit, or even not reduced at all. And I will require much debate to it will require much debate to find the middle ground in which everyone in Congress and the executive feel comfortable with supporting. So we still don't have the details on this one, and the last one was to put all the DCT evicted plots to auction, so the DCT doesn't act as a plot hoarding entity, which Roomba has already started doing, as I said previously. I have also started working with my team to see which ones of my policies can be done through executive orders, and we have some of them listed to be done. I expect this week to finally announce my first EOs. On another subject, I think we can all agree that this March congressional election has been the first election to be run smoothly in the last months, with no issue nor any lawsuit or anything. And that's because the DOS has been working really hard to find ways to automate the process, as well as as well as has been really transparent on how the system works and what they've done when counting votes. I would like to hereby congratulate the department. Especially Secretary Tech for the huge work he's doing so far in the department. It is expected that this next week or the other, the DOS start holding test elections to improve the electoral process as much as possible. I'm very excited for the next announcement, and that is that we are finally starting the Meet the President events. These events will take place in two ways. On the one hand, there will be regular meetings on Monday morning, CET. On the other hand, there will be random meetings at any time of the week that will announce 15 minutes before they take place. So those who can't attend the regular meetings on Monday mornings have an opportunity to be able to attend a meeting. Tomorrow will be the first meeting, and it will take place at 9 a.m. CET at the Brown House. These meetings will be on chat, not on VC. In events matters, tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day, and we have some events being prepared for this week. The Brown House will have green flags at the front of the building to celebrate this festivity. This week, I will also be nominating both the new DCT secretary and the new judge for the federal courts. The nominees are still not decided at 100%, but for the DCT secretary, it will probably be Roomba, as I think he's doing a great job so far. And as for the federal courts, I still have some doubts, so I can't give any hint yet. And finally, this week, Secretary Singh began the bank audits process to audit all banks and make sure they are properly working and following the laws. Those banks who don't report at the time established, will stop getting tax exempts. This week was also released both the January and the February CPIs. We can see that some prices have been raised and some others have decreased. For example, the potato average price went from $2 per stack in January to $2.08 per stack in February, while pork chop went from $30.29 per stack in January to $7 per stack in February. That's all that we have to say for the work done last week and what we expect to do next week. Thank you for attending, and I'll leave you now with Jordan, who will be answering questions. Thank you. I'll just ask if everyone is on VC. Okay, so Buzz is asking whether the meetings are necessary. The meetings are not mandatory. You can just uh, ask the president things personally there. Thank you for the question, Buzz. Do we have questions from the press now? The vice president is busy today. So, are there no questions from the press? The question is, what is the president's long-term goal for the rest of his term? Um, his long-term goals have been clearly defined in the campaign. Goals which were not given any presence in the electoral campaign will be gradually announced, either in the form of bipartisan bills in Congress or by executive order. I was asked if I got a haircut. No, I did not. I will give you a few more moments for questions. If there are not any, I will end the conference. Okay, so King is asking, as we know, what the president has been doing. What has the vice president been doing? The vice president uh, has been mostly active in the Senate, where several bills and have passed thanks to his tie-breaking vote. Other than that, he has been active in his position to as deputy secretary and mostly keeps track to his party. More questions on his issues will have to be directed to him. Question from Representative Papaiku. What will the president do to prepare or welcome Alexandria as a new country? So the president will hold a meeting with Alexandria this evening. Further details of the meeting as well as of our foreign policy will be announced gradually. Um, Peep is asking, what will we do in Meet the President? The Meet the President events are mostly to connect the executive to the common people of Redmont. Anything may be issued there. Any more questions?
I would like to ask on behalf of the Reveille Times. My microphone is not on, so if you could restate the question, that'd be amazing. What is the administration doing to extend bipartisanship across all the bills since the WPR GER coalition did become ineffective as a result of the election? So what has the administration considered to put stuff on the table, like, or to leave stuff out of the table because the conservatives have the majority in the House?
Right. So the Reveille Times is asking what the admin is doing to promote bipartisanship in Congress, considering the crumbling of the GER coalition. The president has been actively working with his home party, the VPR, to engage in communication with the other parties, which the VPR has successfully established.
All right, thank you.
Issues which are important to us will inevitably be a compromise, but we all think that we can make this an effective administration. Gribble is asking, the vice president has recently publicly stated that the Commonwealth of Redmont will be destroyed by the end of the year. Does President 1950 have any response to this? As far as uh, the president is concerned, the quote you mentioned was made in jest. Representative Baco is asking whether the president is aware that the inflation in DC has topped 100% just last month, according to GNOME Corp's CPI dashboard, and what will he do to take steps to ensure that the inflation does not spiral out of control? So, the situation with the inflation is something we have previously discussed. The president has previously, in his short briefing, announced that he will publish executive orders in the following weeks. The administration is working with Secretary Singhs to resolve the situation. There will be 5 more minutes for the conference. Rory is asking, how will you fix the plot crisis? Lower plot limits sound cool. Yes, we are currently negotiating due to how the congressional election turned out with our partners in Congress, the IRP, the Liberty for Redmont Party, as well as GR and Independents, to find a workable compromise solution that all parties find fair and effective. The goal of the administration is to ensure a fair economy for all Redmontians. A question from Representative Pepeku. How will the president modify his campaign goals to fit a minority government that he is leading? The president will, as previously announced, work with all congressional parties to solve issues in a compromised manner. The people have spoken that they wish to be represented by these parties and these people, and we believe that our goals will still be achieved. Speaker Bezergizer from the Liberty for Redmont is asking, the president promised in his administration that he would end the Oak Ridge War. However, it has been almost 1 month since his inauguration, and yet we have seen no end to this, and his own vice president has been making comments of Oak Ridge independence. Yes, the situation currently is less than sufficient. However, we are working to resolve the situation. It has been a priority. However, due to the congressional election, as well as many resignations due to parallel matters of the players, have slowed down the administration.
Hi, Reveille Times. So what is the current plan going forward with the administration when it comes to any inflation that might be right now?
I couldn't hear you. You were lagging for some reason.
Oh, yeah. So what is the current administration's plan going forward with tackling the inflation?
Okay, hold on. I will type it down. So TRT is asking what are the current administration plans to tackle down waves of the inflation. The cabinet has been considering many issues, which, as I stated, will be announced alongside some executive orders. We are working with Secretary Creeks. Singh to advance on the issue.
Thank you.
Speaker is asking what resignations, and then I will answer Pepeku's questions and we will end the conference. What resignations is asking the speaker. So the resignations from different branches of government, which as well as the cabinet, which some of which are yet to be filled. So Pepeku is asking, does the president have a fix to the judiciary being understaffed and overworked constantly since the start of his term? Considering the situation
Sorry,
regarding
live stream cut out.
the judiciary, we are working on solutions. Firstly, we want to appoint currently missing heads and move on to resolving larger issues from there. So, thank you all for your questions and for being in attendance. I hope this was productive to us all. Thank you, everyone.